Real treasure near you. Sitting in the woods waiting for you. One of you will find it in the next few weeks. We are Vail, and we create real-world treasure hunts. If you go to findvail.com, you will see a map which shows the active search area for each hunt. Every day, the circle gets smaller until X marks a spot. You're welcome to play for free, or you can pay to receive daily clues. The treasure is assigned a real value, and as people join the hunt, more and more money is added to the reward for a winner. For players who want a head start, Vail Edge will get you deeper insights and earlier access, giving you critical information before the circle even begins to shrink. As players join, the prize grows. More money, more players, more pressure. This isn't a hike. It's not a weekend game. This is a hunt. The treasure is sitting there, waiting for you now.
All right, welcome everybody. Man, it has been a while since our last time. Can you guys hear us okay?
Everybody.
We've had this issue just about every time we've issues with audio just about every time we started, so hopefully we're good this time. We've got a marathon plan for tonight. We're going through all three hunts. We're going to talk about the next hunts coming to an area near you, and then also we have some fun updates about new mechanics and stuff. So we have a packed night. We're going to hear from our winners. We've got Pola Bones and Moron and Southwick who are all excited to talk. But yeah,
and
Jeff,
Charlie.
And Charlie, yes, and Charlie, yep. But yeah, we've got a really big night tonight, and we're super pumped to get into it. Jeff, this is a marathon of a hunt here.
It is, and we're saving the best for last. There's something that's absolutely insane that we need to show you guys, and we think that everyone is going to love it. And we are teasing that, and are going to continue to tease it until the end because we want you guys to stay and hang out for it. But we're doing everything that we can to get larger rewards and more winners, and you guys are going to love what we've got to show you with that in mind. So yeah, thank you guys. I think before we get to our winners, we just want to go over a few things, and we are going to touch on some of the solves. First, we had over 4,000 players join between our free, pro, and edge tiers for this hunt. So thank you guys who are joining us for the first time. Thank you guys who've been with us for a while. This was our 8th, 9th, and 10th hunts was Project Harvest. So it's a continuation of Project Lyra, which is the hunt that we did that last fall. We do have several more hunts in this series planned. We're going to take a break for a few hunts.
You need a break for a little bit. You and we, yep.
A break from this storyline for a little bit. It is so much effort for literally everyone involved. But with that said, we know that we got a lot of feedback from you guys in the poll that we did at the end of the last season. And in that poll, it was clear that you guys overwhelmingly wanted to try a hunt that had harder solves that led to a more specific area. So Paul and I went all in on that. We think that this hunt was like the max of that sentiment for sure.
It was definitely our hardest hunt.
It's definitely our hardest hunt, and the solves, which we'll see, definitely led to the smallest areas. We want to. It's time for everybody to take a little bit of a regroup from that to do a few hunts that are a little bit easier for us to get out there. Hunts that are daily rather than weekly. We were actually keeping track of this up until last month. It was over 250 hours of my and Paul's time to create Project Harvest, which sounds crazy. It is crazy. It felt crazy.
There's a lot of research.
A lot
of like technical building and like, yeah.
And times 3, and it was something that we loved literally at every step of the way, but it was also a huge amount of effort, and that doesn't even include other stuff that we were working on with the site. So we gave up counting around a month ago, and then we were really glad that our finders found it when they did. But for us, really the way we had planned the hunt and hoped that it would go is exactly how it did go, which was really rewarding for Paul and I in designing the hunt. So quick recap of the story, and then we'll flip it over to Paul to open it up on some clue stuff. So from the trailer, we knew that there was a beam of light shining through a monitoring device in the woods. It was aiming up at the stars in the sky. In the lore videos, we learned that one of the Lyra drone pilots from the Lyra hunt last fall was captured, and we recovered the hard drive and the radiance device that drone pilot was using. And then we started listening to radio frequencies to see what chatter we could pick up. So that was kind of the backstory. There weren't clues in any of those videos, but that was really to build out the story in the world that we were going to explore over the next few months here. So with that, Paul, I think we can go into the solves. I have the graphics. I can pull them up if we want to get started there, unless there's anything else you want to say.
No, yeah, I think this hunt, a lot of people were kind of lost in the mix of some of the more difficult clues, but I think we're really pushing the boundaries of what we've done in the past and what we plan to do. But I think overall, this was a really rewarding experience for us, and pretty much exactly how we planned for this one to go. So,
yeah, awesome.
Right,
so with our first clue, so this was the hard drive clue. So this was the hard drive we found off of the guy in the woods, the drone pilot, and we were starting to.
Hang on.
Are we frozen? Or sharing screen?
Flipping to you, yeah. Hang on.
Got it. Okay.
There we go.
All good.
There we go. Got it.
Cool. Awesome. So we found this hard drive. What was on the hard drive? At first, we had a bunch of photos. I will pull up these photos to scrub through them, and we can shout some things out as we see them. These were all real locations. We did some editing to these to add in little clues, which of course we've got to do. Some of these, especially in the first few weeks, we had some red herrings in the first few weeks. More so, we wanted to build out the story and the world more than anything. So our goal was never to intentionally waste anybody's time with red herrings. But for instance, Zoo 108, I love Lost. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. That's a nice little Easter egg that's not really getting you close to anything. 21 centimeters, however, Paul, if you want to share about that.
Yeah, so there were a bunch of, in the first week's clue, there were a bunch of clues that were, if you haven't heard it by now, the whole point of the hunt was Voyager. And so there were a bunch of things that, when we think about the Voyager Golden Record, a bunch of things that kind of related to that. And so we, the hydrogen atom, there's something called a hyperfine transition. And the frequency, the wavelength that comes off of that is measured in 21 centimeters. And so that's the 21 cm that you saw in that first one. And then HI stands for the hyperfine transition, which is the symbol they use for it.
So all of these little things, these aren't going to necessarily lead you to the treasure location, but our whole goal with this first clue was for everyone to see that when this guy, the baddie from the hunt here, the drone pilot, when he was in a picture with his family, he was, at wherever he was in the world, but whenever he was in a picture not with his family, he was always in close proximity to a large radio telescope. So that was one of the first clues. If you could figure out all of the locations that he was in, so between this one, which is in, I think it's in La Paz, Bolivia. Here he's in San Francisco, a huge radio telescope right there. Here he's with his family, not near radio telescopes. Here he's in China. There's a huge, I forget the province in China, but huge radio telescope there. We have this is in Cologne, Germany. So there's and this is actually a photo I took, believe it or not, many years ago. We dug through old photos for a lot of these, old photos we actually took for many of them. And then we had a few, I think 82 and 53, Paul. These also spoke to the golden record.
So 5382 was the total runtime of the record in minutes. And so if you actually go back, there were what?
I think one of the other ones is the total runtime in seconds. I think it was the 3229 was. Yeah,
and 5382 is that in minutes. Both are that. And then also, if you go back to the boat image, there's a fun couple Easter eggs in here. We named the boat Coles for a reason. So William Coles was. This was in San Diego, and he was a professor in San Diego at the time who was doing a lot of research and discovery on pulsars, which is like something kind of integral. And he did a lot of work on like radio wave telescopes and stuff like that. So he was kind of integral to the understanding of all of this.
Pulsars were huge for the Golden Record. So for those of you, I guess just a little brief backstory about the Golden Record. The Golden Record is the equivalent of a vinyl record, but it's made out of gold, and it is on the Voyager 1, I think, and Voyager 2 spacecraft in outer space. What they put on the Golden Record was instructions for an alien civilization to figure out how to play it so that they could learn about Earth. And hidden in that Golden Record, just like a record you'd have in your home, there were audio tracks, there were images. They intended to tell the aliens about the human body and the way of life on Earth. And the pulsars actually pinpointed, based on the rate that these pulses happened in these stars, they pinpointed the location of Earth, so that in theory, millions of years from now, when aliens find the Voyager spacecraft, they could know exactly where Earth was. Super bad idea, but we loved it, and that's basically the premise behind the story here. I'll flip ahead to a few more. So we had the Christopher Columbus Inn. This is there's a radio telescope array in I think it's in Ohio. For this one, a few other subtle Lost references because again, love Lost, why not? With his family, those don't apply. So this is a famous Georgian sculptor, Georgia as in the Georgia that's over in Asia, Western Asia. His name is Zurab Tsereteli, and he was a sculptor, a painter. He actually was very, well-known, world-renowned. He created the monument that is the birth of a New World monument in Arecibo, Puerto Rico. Arecibo is a location of the radio telescope, the huge one that unfortunately collapsed a few years ago. I'll skip ahead past the family. This is Zurab again. He has passed away, so we were comfortable using his his likeness, which we would not have done while we're still living. But Zurab, this is him at the Sochi Olympics in 2014. So this is again, if we're trying to find an iconic figure, he's Georgian, in some part Russian, I suppose, or at least had ties with Russia, where he lived for a while. So there was a way where you could find out who that was and then pinpoint the location for him in Arecibo. And use that
1420 on his lanyard also referenced the megahertz that happens during that hyperfine transition that we were talking about. So another little Easter egg just to confirm. These were things that after you figured it out, you could kind of use to confirm to know that you figured it out.
Yeah, and on Zurab's watch, 3.59 was the time on his watch, and that was the rotation at the speed of the record. So all of this was just to say, if you're seeing these and you're on the Golden Record thread, you're right. So then we can go to the first audio clue, Paul, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, so the audio clues, oh man, we can finally get into the Russian. Everybody's been asking about the Russian Russian translation. It was not a red herring. It wasn't as helpful as you'd think it's going to be. But basically, after you converted the Russian into English, you would have then done a hex to ASCII conversion. And from there, it would have been a Caesar shift, and that would have given you a message that would have been look deeper, look deeper, and it would have had a Veneer key to the left of it. So then that Veneer key would have been solvable, and it would have told you Serpent Bearer, which if you were to... sorry, go ahead.
Serpent Bearer. Yeah, it's just so Serpent Bearer is the constellation.
That's what. Yeah. So if you were to look up in the sky at the Serpent Bearer constellation, you would. That's where in the sky the Voyager is present. So it was not a red herring, but it did provide a little context, but it wasn't like the coordinates to the code. But a lot of people spent a lot of time on that. So.
So if you couldn't get to the Golden Record, via the other methods, but you were good at cracking codes, Serpent Bearer would have been helpful because there are not many things that are in that constellation that are man-made.
Yes,
very few.
And then so on all the clues for the audio ones, which we could just talk about this in general. The classical music was all classical music that was present on the Golden Record that we sent out into space. So we chose those deliberately. And then this is the big one, the part of the clue that was key that our finders of the treasures ended up solving. So the horns that everybody said at the end, they were actually images encoded in the same exact way that they would have done them on the Voyager Golden Record when we set it out into space. So it was a painstaking process making those. And trying to be as accurate as possible, and also making sure that they weren't easily solvable by ChatGPT, which inherently isn't that smart anyway. So we put a lot of time and effort into it, and so we can show you. Let me see. Let me pull it up.
While you're pulling it up, what these gave you is the exact location of the treasure from close to the Earth at first, and then it would zoom further and further out, a little bit Skydrop style. But that was a very hard clue to solve, but it would have given you the exact area of the treasure. So we know that everybody on the call here, that is ultimately how everyone was able to lock in on it. But it was super, super immersive for us to create a file that is in the exact same style and that could be solvable by anybody. There are a few different ways to do it. There are some people that wrote scripts for like Excel that you could use online. Yeah, if you like really work with it for a while using Gemini or ChatGPT or something, you probably could have. There are other programs that you could have taken a look at too. But also key to that was, just like the real golden record, the images had a left ear and a right ear approach to it, which, I mean, Paul can speak to this better than I can, because this was the genius of this was Paul's in figuring out. But you had to split the audio file, and then there was also 4-color to it, so it was RGB and
yep. There was a lot to it. Just 1 sec, I'm just pulling it up. It's I didn't have a screen share set up, which is my mistake, but. Okay, so here we can see, let me hit cut. So here we can see we have, that would have been the one that Pola found in the Midwest. This is the one that was found by Southwick in Brentwood Park in Maryland, Elkton, Maryland. And then this would have been the one in Wampatuck. This is the third iteration of the clue. So you're seeing the final form of it, but it basically was zoomed in more and then gradually got higher. Let me see. Let me just switch back to Jeff now. 1 second. There we go.
Cool. So that was those were the audio clues. After that, we had actually any of the other audio clues. I guess we'll hit those as we go. After that, we've got the Veil Finder. So the Midwest rather, Veil Finder. This first location was Vermont Park. These are some pretty iconic stairs leading from the park, which is on the bluff down into one of the Great Lakes. There is also in. Let me see. The next Midwest clue, I'll just stick with the Midwest at the moment. This was in Kewaunee was the name of the town, and it was almost like a really unique driving course right on the edge of the railroad tracks. We had the water tower in there, the grain silos. There was a lot on here if you could get in the realm of, where are the, what exists along the rail line here. Also, a pretty decent sized clue in this one is that all of these points were on, to the north and to the east. So that tells you, generally, what portion of the circle you're likely to be in. For New England, our first clue was, if I pull it up here, Hearthstone Castle. Hearthstone Castle has been abandoned for some time, but it's a decently known landmark in the area. Then the second location was the Saratoga Battlefield Monument. So this was right on the bluffs overlooking the river there. There's a big balloon festival that happens up there too every year. I used to live up there. I love that balloon festival. So we threw in some references for that too to help you hone in on that area. And then the third and final clue for New England was the Fort Greeble in Rhode Island. And you can see the bridge, whose name I forget at the moment, but the bridge in the background there to help you, confirm that that's your location. And then lastly, we had northeast. The first northeast clue was Eagle's Edge. This is, I believe, the Schuylkill. Don't hold me to it, but I'm pretty sure that's the Schuylkill. Then we've got, no, actually, I don't think that's the Schuylkill. I'll confirm what it is before we get off the chat here. Then we had Ellis Island, because we know you guys love Ellis Island. And lastly, I believe the treasure was actually found before Mr. Bills could make it, but this is like an iconic custard stand in South Jersey. So this was that was the final clue there.
We'll just take a minute, Jeff, too. I just want to go. I see a couple things in the chat. I can go ahead after, guys, and post the exact shifts that you would have had for each one in the Discord. And then, so the images that I showed, I'm just going to state again. So that was the third time that clue had been done. So it was on week 9? Week 9?
Yeah.
They were they were progressively zoomed out quite a bit. So the first one wouldn't have actually been helpful. The second one, if you were really amazing, you could have found it. But by the third time it came around, but even then, I don't think our winners cracked it until week 5 or 6. But yeah, so we can get into more of that. And then somebody said something else. Hidden text on the engine. Hidden text. What?
I'll go back and look at it. I'll see if there's something in the image that we can pull up.
Gotcha. Okay. And so a little bit more about the Voyager encoding process, and there's a lot of resources out there that can tell you exactly how to do it. But basically, the whole point is you're encoding vertical scan lines, and that's actually where it trips up a lot of the AI today, because our AI is trained to read in horizontal, and there's all sorts of, and we also didn't include the calibration disk because it was too easy. But so basically you're encoding those into grayscale values, and so we did a blue. I mean, it was RGB now, but they're actually BGR in the way that they were done then for red, green, and blue channels. And so if you'd done all that and converted those to grayscale, basically every blip on the waveform would have corresponded to a different lightness value, and then that's how it gets built out.
There's some great YouTube videos for those of you that want to learn more about the Voyager, which we love it, so we would certainly think that many of you might enjoy it too. I'm going to keep rolling here, Paul, so we can blast through these and get to our finders here. So we've got in week 4 we had another hard drive. So there were photos taken from the area around the treasure. Once you're out in the woods, these could help you look for more things than just a little treasure. You could be looking for trees and certain types of things that were shown in those photos. We also had these charts. So on these charts, there was these graphs. These graphs corresponded to, based on the lore and what we would see in the other piece of paper here, these graphs correspond to the number of blips and pulses of the Radiance device. Where there were no bars on the graph, there were no blips because the Radiance device was obstructed by cloud cover. These match authentically to the weather.us historical data. That's, for those of you that are wondering, for the future, that's always the website that we reference is weather.us because you can go back in time every 5 minutes and see what was there, and you can see cloud cover and rain and all sorts of different stuff. So that's what that was. We also started and stopped the blips of on the bar graph here between the rise and fall, rise and set rather of the Voyager in the sky, which we have a link for that we can pull up.
And we also plug transit time too for the Voyager in this, which is key once you have the next version of this clue.
Right, exactly. So, and looking at what one of those charts looks like blown up, I'll pop it up on the screen here. As you look down here, you can see the peak time, and we've got the date here, and this all corresponds to both the information that you would see if you look back at the weather, and also the rise, transit, and set for the Voyager in the sky. And our source for that was called Sky Live, and I will pull that up so that you guys can see what that is like too.
And so in the next iterations of these clues, you would get the angle as well, which we'll get into. But using that...
Yeah, so what you could do for Sky Live, if my computer comes back to life here, which it's currently not at the moment, I'll pull it up in a minute. But you could see the...
You would basically get a box, like a rectangle on the map, if you were able to coordinate the transit point with the angle.
Yeah, so you can see this was our source, so this is a public source, and we knew that a lot of you would have access to it. Everybody would have access to it, but you can see there's the rise time, there's the transit time, which is the highest point in the sky, there's the set time, and you can actually cycle through by changing the there's like a little map down at the bottom where you can change your settings and scrub through like almost by the minute. And also with that, when you hover over this too, you can see the exact altitude and everything, all the data that you would need to do that. So that's what we used for this source. We thought this would be a super fun one, and was authentically tied between the data that we had and the clues and the weather data as well, so that you could kind of use those things to hone in on it. We know it was super deep, but this is a deep hunt, so that's what the goal was for this. So then after this one, we've got the number station again. So this was the alpha cipher, which was beam off when obstructed. That was an audio clue, which I will pull back up here. That was this guy here. So this was just reinforcing when the beam is blocked, whether it's cloud or trees or anything else. When the beam is blocked, you're not getting a signal.
Yeah. It was I believe the cipher was an A1Z26 cipher, with a couple weird shifts in there. But yes.
Yeah. So then our seventh clue, and we're almost done with this portion. We just have really one more to go. With our seventh clue, this was the text history between our main guy, the baddie, and some other guy. And he was basically saying in this text history that he was trying to upload some information and he wasn't able to do it on SVRnet. So how could he do it? And basically the backup way of submitting this information was to not say what it was, send a picture. And in the picture, each of these clues had an angle in the sky. So I think this one was like 60.3 degrees was on the thermostat in the background. There was an oven that had another time. There was another, I think on a whiteboard, and in the other one there was a number that was scrawled. So that was your clue. Then it would take you to Sky Live, and you would know that you're really in the right location if you had the right angle in the sky. You had the rise and set time, which would give you like a pretty narrow, maybe 10-mile wide or so swath were you to do that. And then again, this is people combining this with the Veil Finder and weather data, and that's how you really start to hone in on what that location is. And then lastly, we've got the last was the satellite view, actually. So
yeah, the satellite image, which I just showed you, and they just got progressive. I mean, they were progressively wider each time, but that is the work that kind of went behind the hunt and the thinking that went in. There was just a ton of research that we put in to try and make everything as accurate as possible and make it like something that was realistically solvable, which a lot of people solve this in different ways, and it ended up being something that was really fun. So Jeff, you ready to bring in our winners?
With that, let's do it. Yeah.
All right, hang on, give me 1 second here. Let's
so while Paul's bringing them in, our finders of the Midwest treasure were Tyson and Charlie. Tyson's wearing the Veil hat and the shirt there, and there's Charlie's coming in with the pink hat there. They're the two sets of legs that we saw on the trail cam. Tyson and Charlie were on a team with Eric. So Eric is wearing the red shirt there. So they kind of work together. And Eric, I don't think we'll find out from you guys. I don't think Eric is close enough to go and actually find the location, boots on the ground. But that was those guys. And then Steve Southwick was our finder of both New England and the Northeast. So welcome, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I think the main thing that Paul and I want to know is, there's so many things we want to know, but at what point, I guess, and we'll start, Tyson, since you found the first one, we'll start with you guys. At what point did you feel like you had a good enough idea of where this was to go out and start looking?
It sucks.
We knew it probably 3 weeks before we found it, but obviously when the clue was a patch of 8 trees. Yep. Can you hear me?
I can hear him.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Okay. Sorry, go ahead, Tyson.
We were waiting for the last audio clue to come out because we had already found it's a spot of 8 trees. There was no way to find that at all. So when the third audio clue came out, I had everything packed. I had the kids packed. I was ready to go. And Moron, 24, as most people know him here in the community.
The end goes up.
Eric, 42. I said, hey, man, when this clue comes out, we got to find it. We found it in like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. I don't remember where it was, but I was already on the road, headed north. It's an hour and a half from here, and he zoned us in. So me and the kids were ready. We went hiking a few times before that with no solve at all. But no one has done a treasure hunt in Illinois at all. ever in the history ever. I've been doing this for years, but I'm always just helping somebody in Utah. Or I'm helping somebody in Pennsylvania. I'm helping somebody in New Jersey.
Yeah.
So this was awesome for us, man. This was absolutely awesome. I mean, my kids, this is Charlie, by the way. She's very excited to be on the live stream. I don't know if our video is up or not, but this is Hadley. She wasn't involved at all. She's also very excited to be on the live stream. And it was just awesome. I mean, we went hiking for a few weeks before that with no solve. Just kind of, I was texting messaging you guys like, hey, we went out for no reason at all, but I've never been hiking with the kids. So what you guys doing is awesome. That's all I want to say. But when that third audio could come out, we knew we'd had a chance. And the Midwest one, I'll be honest with you, was way easier than the ones out here. I mean, we had a pond to find, we had a road to find, we had everything.
We didn't know it was a pond. We thought maybe it was a quarry at first. It dried up.
Yeah, we had no clue. But it was found. I was in the truck. We went up. We couldn't get it. Me and Charlie went up, and there was about an 8-foot wall of brambles, as we'll call them. Brambles, but it was a thorn wall, and we couldn't get in there. I'm like, okay, it's not there. We obviously misread the clues. We got to go back again and back again and back again and back again. You want? All right,
Yeah.
go on.
And then when I went to cheer practice, him and my brother Caden went to go look before they had to pick me up, and they went all the way around and found it.
Because of Hormuz, because of the red herring Hormuz, because there must have been a pond. We had to go to the pond. We had to go in there. We had 28 minutes to search. 28 minutes. And we had to go pick her up at cheer practice, and we couldn't find it. We walked around in the woods. I'm like, man, I'm telling you, it's got to be here. Like, the clues point to right here. And I have taken these kids on a lot of treasure hunts that weren't real. Like, a lot of them that were just, I made them up. And we couldn't find it. And so we were walking back. He was disappointed. We were walking back, and there's two like deer trails walking out of it. And one went the way we needed to go, and one went the other way. And he was like, Dad, why don't we just go look this way? We walked over there. We saw the trail cam. We found the veil. I got some pictures to share with the group. I haven't really say anything, but I got some pictures to share. But I mean, even like, don't show my video. Like, it was 117 degrees out that day. It was 145 in that forest. It was the coolest experience I've ever had. And we had a lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, she
Charlie,
didn't like
awesome.
it that much. She's not much of a hiker. She kind of like, hey, Dad, there's bugs. There's. You talking about the snake?
Oh yeah, my dad said that I could flip off every snake that I
No,
saw.
don't say where I'm like. You can't say about every snake.
Right. I saw every time I saw a snake. Yeah.
We never saw a snake. She was flipping off every raccoon in the place.
It's nice to have carte blanche to do that. That's great. Charlie, what was it like for you going out on these adventures with your dad?
No cold water. Lots of poop and lots of deer tracks and horse tracks.
A lot of memories for sure. I'm so glad that you guys got to go out together and enjoy the outdoors together. That's what it's all about. So that's awesome.
Yeah. and
Eric,
you
how
guys-
about you?
You guys really put in a ton of work. I just wanted to say I think I see a couple of Lost references too in Moron's background there. I see the 42.
That's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference.
Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay.
Wow.
So Eric, what was this hunt like for you? You had no intention of going boots on the ground, but how did you approach yourselves from wherever you were in the country?
Yeah, I'm out in Utah. I know, I was just working with Pola through Discord. We so yeah, I was solving the clues and telling him where to go. We found we knew how to extract the audio images already, and so as soon as the clue came out, we extracted it, and I think it was about an hour. I found it on the map, and he was out the door and said, "Okay, give me the coordinates." Well, we knew the approximate coordinates, and he was on his way and said, "Send me the exact coordinates as soon as you can." And so
I would share my location with him and like, just tell me where to go. I don't know where to go.
But at that point, we didn't know if it was there or if we had to go 60.3 degrees some distance from there, because we hadn't solved the Russian, and we hadn't the graph. We had a little bit of ideas, but
that would have been torture if we did that to you guys. That was...
Yeah. We're not
So, yeah.
JCB guys.
60.3 degrees from every point of that circle, just so you know.
yeah, we said, here's what crosses the trail. Here's, but yeah, anyway. So I was sort of the mission control, talking to the boots on the ground.
That's awesome. How did you How did you figure out the audio solve? Like, how did you get to an image from that?
So,
Go ahead.
you want to go? All right. So here's the deal. So about 6 weeks into it, me and Moron, Eric, I don't know what to call you here at this point, but we were struggling. We knew it was the Voyager. We figured out the clues. We were looking at satellites. And I can tell you every single Starlink satellite that was in outer space at 8:20 p.m. on August 25th. I can tell you. That's where we're at.
That's not useful
we
knowledge.
We need to reach out to people from the East Hunt. We need to reach out to people from the East Hunt because they're not competitors. And I messaged probably 25 people that were in the Discord. And I talked to Josh. I talked to a few people, but like no one was online right away. But Southwick was. And this is going to be a big blow up here and so we talked the whole time. I said, here's what I think it is. I think it's outer space. I think it's this. I think it's that. I think it's that. Here's what I think. Here's about this clue. Here's about this clue. We had the same thoughts. And he said, did you extract the audio file? And I said, no. In about 5 minutes, I was able to extract it because we knew the Voyager. We knew all of it.
Yeah.
But he had the black and white file. It wasn't good. I pulled it up too. I was able to extract it. And then Moron was able to figure out the RGB thing, and we had an actual picture of everything. And so I knew right away that like me and Southwick weren't partners. I was just reaching out to everybody out east to say, hey, here's what I think. What do you guys think? And
yeah, we were just bouncing ideas off each other, and it just so happened.
That's a great segue then, Southwick, to you. How did you get to that point where you figured out how to do that? And I guess how did you do it? Did you split it up in audio software, or did you what did you do?
So right when the week 5 audio came out, and I had the panpipes and drums from Peru, I obsessed over what that was because I thought it was Native American at first. And I'm like, okay, New England, Native American, that makes sense. But then I just kept obsessing, and I mean, you couldn't put these songs into like the opera was very easy. A lot of well-known things. A lot of people probably have heard it in some time in their life. But when you hear panpipes from Peru, you're like, this is something weird. So I tried every audio
they got progressively more obscure as it went along. So every week was a little weirder. Yeah.
So it gave me nothing, and then randomly, I was just like typing in like indigenous music and all this other stuff, and I got that somehow on YouTube, and there was like probably 20 views on it. It was the most obscure thing, and the first comment said one of the Voyager audio clips, and I said, what? So then I looked up Voyager, and that's when the playlist came up, and it had the Mozart Queen of the Night on it as well. And then I said, well, has to be it. There's no way panpipes in Peru and Mozart are in the same album unless it's this. So that led me down the Voyager rabbit hole, and then I basically watched tons of YouTube videos about how to get the audio to picture formula. Obsessed over it in the car. I was listening to every song everywhere I went. I listened to the whole playlist probably 10 times, and then I looked back at the hard drive images, and that's where I got my confirmations. Basically, it's like, all right, something's in here, and I couldn't figure out where it plugged in until I was like, oh, when I'm listening to it on YouTube, it sounds just like the audio clips at the end. So then I extracted it. I used Audacity, the app Audacity. I basically clipped it down, and then I tried to download the code that is readily available out there on like GitHub and everything like that. I was just having really hard time like using it for some reason, and so I basically just talked to ChatGPT for a few hours, just saying like, okay, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this, and I'd get nothing. I'd get static, I'd get everything, and then I tried Claude. Then
Sit down for Claude.
yeah, and then after about another couple hours of talking back and forth, all of a sudden I got a picture of the Earth, and I said, "That's it. I did it. I solved it." Little did I know at week 5 you weren't really going to solve it. You just kind of got the idea of you're on the right track. So a buddy of mine he's been helping, like we like the treasure hunt things. We do there's Treasure Inside with John Collins Black. We've gone to Vermont and looked up there. And he's a big audio guy, and he's like, he was looking at it and he's like, I think there's a different sound in each ear. And I didn't at the moment I just like, oh yeah, maybe, I don't know. And then when I put it into Audacity, you get the left channel and the right channel, and they're completely different. And when I looked at the other two, week 2 and week 5, they were completely different. Even though they sounded the same, there was difference in the wavelengths. And I said, well, this has to be something. So I deleted the right channel because I knew the right channel was the Earth, which is basically your confirmation that you're, because they used the circle to be like, it was
your version of the calibration circle.
Yeah. And then I thought the circumference of the Earth, because it says that there, had something to do with it. Didn't have anything to do with it. And then all I got were treetops. I got the left channel, got it perfect, and all I got were treetops. And I'm like, well, this doesn't narrow it down at all. It looks like my backyard. So I basically, for week 5 up until the last audio clue, which was what, week 8?
Week 8, yep.
I was lost, completely lost. I'd obsess, I'd give up, I'd obsess, I'd give up. I tried the Russian code. We obsessed over the Russian code, nothing. I obsessed over the colors on the old man's shirt, nothing. I thought they were trailblazers or something like that. I got nowhere, absolutely nowhere for all those weeks, and I was just giving up. And then Polo Bones reached out to me, and we were just bouncing ideas off each other for about a week. And then Moron entered and all this, and then the last audio clue came out. And when I did that, I saw the zoomed out photo, and you could actually make out some sort of trail on it now. And that's when it was just madness. It was just clear the schedule. Everything needs to be put on hold. And then the hunt to try to find that on Google Maps was its own massive challenge.
It is so awesome. I'm just gonna I have to say this. It's awesome that that's how you solved it, because when we were putting this together, that was one of our hopes, that was an avenue that people could solve it. And I remember Paul said to me, we had the audio files ready to go, and it was just the same in both ears. And Paul said, look, the way to be more authentic with this is to do it unique in each year. It's going to be way harder for people. And I said, and we talked about it, and we said, it's got to be as authentic as it can possibly be. So we apologize for that.
On the Golden Record, that's the way it was. The left and the right channels were different images. Yeah. And so they were interweaved with each other.
That's how they stacked so many images on the album, is that they layered it left and right. So when you split it, you got all those images instead of just one. Yeah.
So then, when did you realize, I guess, that you had the right location, and then did you just hop up and leave, or did you have a bag packed? What was your day like?
That was really hard to find. If people look at the New England one, it is like nothing but a little half of a square and a line. And I'll tell you, around here, that could be anywhere. But I mean, the amount of Google Maps searching, I can't 30 hours of just scrolling in every. I will say, I'll give this to you guys. The Hunt Mapper gave me what I needed, because being able to have the cones, I'm if you notice, I don't know if it reset, had the most Hunt Mapper objects. I had like 200 and something Hunt Mapper objects on there. I had everything. I was marking every park. Everything that was in a cone, it was a search area. And then I would toggle between the Google Earth image and the regular just map view, and just keep going back. And it was, and then I was getting absolutely nowhere. And then Polo Bones basically solved his location, and I was just ecstatic, because I was like, we like, if somebody did it, like, this was right. Somebody won, and then it felt so good, and it reinvigorated. And it didn't. I was basically just so at a loss, and then that's when Moron and Polo Bones were like, you know what? We're gonna find this spot in your world, over in New England. And I don't know how he did it, but Moron found it. And then I was literally, I didn't even check my computer that whole day, and I just hear Discord going, ding, 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 ding. I was like nonstop notifications, and I walked by, and they're like, wake up, pack your bags. And then I basically just the next morning just drove straight to Mass. I'm in Rhode Island, so it was only like an hour away.
Okay.
But yeah, and that was it. And then basically once I found that location, I was like, well, we have the solve for the Northeast, and that's when I made the decision and I ran it by Paul that I was like, is it okay if I do it? And then he went through the whole thing with me, and then I found the Northeast one on my own, which was very satisfying but incredibly hard still.
Awesome. That is like it's rewarding for us to hear that too. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just throw something out there? Like I'm gonna throw a plug for the Kraken quest that I've done. Okay, we do an online quest. It's 10 clues. Me and Kraken have done it before for treasurekraken.com. A lot of people here know me from that. They're hard. They're ciphers. They're hard. I have never could even imagine putting this together. That's ridiculous, man. That was absolutely ridiculous.
Thank you and sorry at the same time.
Yeah. There were like moments of grief and hate,
crazy ciphers, crazy clues, crazy things like people get mad at us for, and that's why my Discord is like the devil kid, because I love it. I love watching people suffer, but like that was like ridiculous, dude. Ridiculous. The Voyager CD. The Voyager CD.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Kudos for you too.
Like we said, I've said before, our goal for this hunt was really we had a few goals, but one, we knew everybody wanted harder hunts with harder solves that led to a narrower area. We also knew that from the past that whatever we put out there, it needs to get easier as the hunt goes. So yes, they start really hard, but then as you can tell, even with the audio files, we're giving less and less audio because we're focusing in on what is most important. Because at some point, yes, it's great to add to the story and to make it feel like you're a person who's doing the detective work, and sometimes you find things that are great and sometimes you don't. But at some point, we really do need to narrow that down, which is the part.
Can I ask how you came up with it?
This is chapter 2 in a story of a 6/7 part story that we've been working on. We know what the premise is for each of those hunts. For this hunt, we knew that the beam of light and the radiance, we had all that figured out. And then Paul, at some point, I don't know how you came upon the Voyager, but if you want to share that part of it.
I had recalled, like, I don't know, a couple of years ago, learning about the process of encoding and decoding messages on the Voyager, and I thought about it. I was like, you know what, Jeff, this would be like, we've wanted to do an audio clue for a while, and we talked about it in great detail like before this, and I was like, man, it would be really cool if we did something with the Voyager, and because we're dealing with transmissions from outer space, and I was like, I bet you we could encode on the audio images and do that. And then we were talking, and I was like, and we were looking, Jeff was looking at like what we could do for tracking something through the space, and I was like, well, wait, why don't we just do that with the Voyager 2 and just make the entire hunt Voyager themed, which ended up being a lot of fun,
And it fits in perfectly with the other 4 stories that we have to tell in the Lyra Harvest series. So again, it's going to be a little bit before we get to chapter 3, but we had that all planned out. And when we found out like the purpose of the Golden Record, we were like, oh my God, it is perfect. Like, we have to do it. And that coincided with the poll where people said they wanted a harder hunt. I love that the radiance is glowing in front of you guys right now. That's awesome. And that was really, it was just such, it was an insane amount of work to get it to where, to the point where we could release it to people and have it give reliable clues and give people a good experience for it. But there are a few other things I want to get to too. So yes, we knew that it was possible for multiple people or for one person to find multiple treasures. We encouraged that by offering a discount for people who did more than one hunt. We do have an update on that for the end here. Going forward, when we do hunts that are part of a group, it'll be one finder per, and we'll make sure that the skills won't translate directly from one to the next. So that is one thing that we are going to do, and that we knew that in advance, which is why we put the 2-win cap on it even before the hunt started. But again, this was a tough hunt. Next, we're going to have easier hunts for everybody, easier for you guys.
In the Midwest, right? In the Midwest.
we will be back to the Midwest. We will be back to the Midwest for sure.
Charlie, They're gonna do another one in the Midwest. I said.
Yeah,
We-
do it.
We will. It may not be our next one, but it will be the one after our next one. So we've got hunts that are easier for you guys to get solves for, easier to get you to get outdoors and explore in the parks, which we all want. Also easier for us to turn around, which means we can get back to daily clues. So our next hunts will have daily clues. We'll announce the dates for those on the end of the chat here. And super exciting here. I'm going to flip it to Paul in 1 second. Huge update for hunts, for Vail hunts going forward. We are now supporting both boots on the ground and armchair hunts. And when I say armchair, what Paul's about to show you is absolutely insane, and we are super excited for it. We've teased a scoring system in the past so that everybody who participates can submit a guess online. They can click a point on a map, and then at the end of the hunt, it'll calculate and rank and give scores based on where people have selected. So we had the ambition to do that, and we did it, and then we one-upped it. And we're really excited to announce now that for every hunt, not every hunt, but every hunt where we advertise it, we will have both a boots on the ground finder and a virtual finder. So someone whoever's the closest guess from all those points online, will do a top 10 reveal in the clue reveal videos where we announce the top 10 closest points and then reveal who that secondary finder was. We'll also do a top 10 countdown for the leaderboard so everybody can see based on their points where they got for each hunt. And this is it's something that Paul and I have wanted to do, and something that we think is a really awesome thing for the treasure hunting community. So our hope is that it's not only with our hunts, that other hunts that are out there want to adopt this too and use this, the ability to make these selections. So with that, Paul, if you want to share your screen.
Yeah, so we could just show off. We're currently live with the pre-sales for our next hunt. They start in 28 days. We have, although our circles up there are old, but there we go. We have our same starting circles. Now, we can talk a little bit about this hunt real quick, and I'm going to show you the features of the Hunt Mapper 2 and also the guessing feature. But these hunts are both going to be 22-day hunts. They're going to be a lot more like our traditional Vail hunts. We're calling them raw because we're going back to, you're going to have images, frequent images, around like 15 minutes or so, images that are time-stamped. We're going to have clues. Jeff, I don't know if you want to talk about like our plan for the clues a little bit.
The idea behind the premise of raw hunts. So Vail Raw is a style of hunt that we're introducing now that is, I would say, the opposite of what we just did for Harvest. It is primitive. It is photos. It is textures from the parks. It's simple information. And yes, we're going to work in some things that still make it fun for people to find some historical solves and find their way to the area. But our goal for this is we want to turn around a hunt quickly for everybody so that there's, more excitement and more for people to do who are interested in the hobby this summer without the long lead time and the week between clues, which is what we need for the more involved hunts like Lair and Harvest. So we're getting back to the basics. We're going to have some quick hunts that we get out there with these two raw hunts, and we will follow more with more in that realm very shortly after too.
Yeah, we're already planning our next big hunts, I should say. But we just need a little bit of time, and people were asking for like something fun where they could see the trail cam in the meantime, and so that's really what this is meant to be. It's something that's a little easier for us to get out. It's still a lot of work to get it out, but it's something that we can push out more frequently to have something in the meantime. All right, so I'm going to jump over here, and I'm going to show you how guessing works, and I also have some stuff that I feel like is fun that I want to run through too. So when you come into the Hunt Mapper, and so for this hunt, everybody will have the Hunt Mapper lights included with their purchase for the duration of the hunt. And so you every day will be able to go in here and you will be able to hit the Submit Today's Guess button. And so from there, this is our test roll, and so I would click here and I'll hit Place Today's Guess. And so I'm hovering over, St. George here, and I'm saying, oh, I'm going to place it here, and there's my marker, and I'll hit Review and submit my guess for the day. And so that guess is now locked. And so from that point on, and we process the guesses every day at midnight. So then we calculate points on the back end, and so basically anybody who's within 25 feet of the treasure with like a 50-foot diameter of the treasure, you would be the winner of that hunt if you're the first person to do it for the digital portion. now that is calculated after the hunt is concluded, so you won't find out until after. And then if no one gets within the 25-foot radius, it would be the closest to at the earliest.
Yeah, so when the hunt concludes, when the boots on the ground finder finds it, and then the closest online guess is who wins that portion of the hunt. So the way it works is everybody's going to put a bunch of points every day. You'll pick a new point, and then if the treasure is not found that day, these points will process at midnight that night. So on the day the treasure is found, the points aren't going to process because you don't want the person who found it to then say where it is and ruin that fun part of the hunt. But up until that day, those points will all log in the system. When we say that the hunt ends and we type in the coordinates so that it processes, it does all that math and it'll tell us who the closest point is. And on the clue reveal video, we'll show all of the points that everyone has picked, and we'll go through the top 10 like I had said earlier too.
Yep. And then, so this is going to be a super fun, new interactive way for people who are farther away to still contribute and win some money and feel like they're a part of the game. And there's a whole leaderboard section that's going to be tied to points. We actually have a lot more ways to integrate with this too, and we plan on extending it and maybe even doing clue stuff with interactions in the Hunt Mapper. And we just feel like we could take this to a whole new level. And then I did post in the Discord today. There's a bunch of updates to the Hunt Mapper. Bunch of new tools that can really help you hone in your searches and a bunch of things. And we also have I'm really pumped about this. I don't know who else is pumped about this, but we now have high resolution precipitation and cloud cover in here. And so this will help people a lot who are weather watching, which is going to be critically important in the next hunt, given the frequency of the trail cam. So there's just a lot we've put a lot into making this a lot more usable. There's all sorts of we added rectangles and we went over and changed everything about the object list and all this stuff. So it should be a big improvement to the amount of tools that you have available at your disposal.
You guys, we want you to have everything that you need right here, especially with them getting rid of Google Earth Desktop. Oh my God, that, how terrible is that? And what a good time for us to be doing this.
I'm going to show them. I was looking for a trail. All right, we can. We have something called trail route, which basically, if you wanted to set a point and say I want to go from here to here, it's going to map your route to you. So then you could also add in we could add in a buffer. I'm not going to do too much on all this, but you could add in a buffer here, and then so basically it's creating a buffer around that shape, or instead of 1,000. Yeah, but you get the idea. Anyway.
So awesome Hunt Mapper updates. We're excited for you guys to get in there and play around with it. If you have feature requests, send them our way. One last thing I want to say on the online guesses that we've got going now. So the way we're going to do it for the first time, I think, don't hold me to this yet, I think we've settled on 25% of the reward will go to the online finder. The other 75% goes to the boots on the ground finder.
Correct.
Our hope with this so our hope with this and why we think this is a really good thing is, one, it's going to encourage people who are thinking about joining Pro or Edge to do so sooner, because then they'll get more guesses. So why not do it sooner if you're thinking about it anyway? So that is a good thing for rewards for everybody. And then the other thing it's going to do too is it opens up an avenue to play the game and to win for people who are nowhere near the circle. You could be completely on the other side of the country and you could still be a winner of one of our hunts. So for these hunts, we're going to have both boots on the ground and online winners. We will have some hunts down the road that are still just boots on the ground. We'll have some that are maybe online only. We'll play around with what the rewards are. We want to get feedback from everybody and see how you like it. But our goal is to have larger rewards and more winners for every hunt. In theory, we could have 3 different winners per hunt and really just increase the amount of people who have a positive
because we may even do a
experience.
points winner, and I think we really we're definitely going to try and do some fun integrations with doing more clue stuff inside the Hunt Mapper too. I think there's just a lot we can do with it. So we're gonna dive more in because we give it to you guys for free with the when you purchase the hunt. So it's something that we control and we control. And there's also ways to view elevation lines too and stuff like that. I forgot to mention that, but
yeah. Awesome. So that's what we've got for you guys. We want to open it up to questions. If you guys have questions, drop them in the chat. Paul, maybe if we want to circle back through and just see if there are any questions for Pola or Eric or Southwick or Charlie or us for that matter.
I'm reading now. Let me see. Let's see the audio clues. There's a lot of people who were close on the audio clues. Let me see. Coleman was saying that the Great U.S. Treasure Hunt just did a story.
Oh, they had a golden disc too.
Golden disc, yeah. I mean, the golden record is a cool thing. We almost did the Arecibo messages, and then we had a lot of ideas. We went through. We were trying to do. Our original thought was to do the earliest from Earth transmission to outer space. But then we ended up
somewhere.
Yeah. You have a question about the Morse code clue. Route shifted west. Yeah, that was a red herring. So the Morse code ended up being red herrings on that.
Yeah, there was one in there that was actually related to Lyra in the direction that the plane took for Lyra, but it was not. Those were red herrings and building background, and that's why we did those very, very early in the hunt, because that would be cruel to do later in the hunt.
Let's see. I don't think I have any other questions in here. I think everybody's good.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's pretty much a wrap for Project Harvest. Have we had any collaborations for a new treasure hunt? Oh wait, actually, this is a fun thing. We won't give out any details yet, but
we don't want to. I don't want to say what she should.
No, I don't even say. Yeah, don't even say that. But we are talking with somebody who's going to have a very exciting treasure hunt announcement for our platform, hopefully in the near future. And so we will wait for that to unfold on its own. And I heard there's some rumors that there's some Kraken hunts coming up here, so maybe there's some kind of crossover we can do there too.
Oh yeah, I would love that. Yeah.
But we're really excited. The platform is open for creators to start making their own hunts on it. So we're really excited about that possibility of what that opens up. So anybody who's interested in running their own hunt, definitely we can start a conversation and get you on boarded to start doing that. Here's YouTube. Somebody was posting the YouTube video. Yeah, there was a good video. I think The Verge did a good video on it too.
The Verge one was awesome. I definitely recommend that one.
Yeah, on decoding the golden record. Which, if you're an alien, I don't know how that would work out. I feel like it would be pretty. I mean, I guess if you found us in outer space, you're already doing pretty well. But
yeah,
I feel like sometimes thinking backwards to old technology is harder than thinking. Yeah. Anyway. So that pretty much wraps up Harvest. We definitely feel like it was our most difficult hunt yet. I think a lot of you felt that way as well. But just know there's more fun and little, I'm not going to call them easier hunts, but more in line with what we've done in the past to be able to help give everybody a more traditional Vail experience coming up. Jeff, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys. We truly loved putting this hunt on. It was like the peak of our treasure hunt planning and treasure hunt design experience. We view these as hunts, yes, but also as like what we call real world adventure games. And we really wanted to create an experience that felt like something that you were living in kind of like in the real world. So we put so much effort into it. We're really proud of how it turned out. And we just wanted to say thank you all for joining us and for participating. And congratulations to Southwick and Pola and Charlie and Eric. You guys, we really appreciate you finding it, because had you not found it, oh my God, we'd still be making clues. so we really appreciate it. And we can't wait to see you guys out there for the next Vail hunts, which are launching in I think 4 weeks. Timer's live on the site.
4 weeks exactly. Yep.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much.
Guys, but it's summer. We have vacations and stuff, so
yes,
we need a little bit of downtime. But
we're working on it. We'll see you guys over in the chat, and thank you guys again for calling in and for watching. We really appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye. Take care. Bye.